Lola, we can't. What a bug sting. Oh, you're back. Well, don't look at me for this awkward moment. You're the one who clicked on the video. Alright, you know the drill by now. This is Hazbin Hotel, episode 4. The episode begins in a very hostile situation. Angel Dust has been captured and is being questioned and interrogated for information. Oh, how is he going to survive this? Oh, just kidding, it's just a porno. A really bad one. That he's showing off for show and tell. I don't normally use this type of lingo, but there is something unfathomably base about showing up to your own show and tell with a porno starring you and acting confident about it. Much to the detriment of all of the sinners around them, but hey, if you got the assets, then why not show them off, right, legs for days? But thankfully, Drunk Daddy Husk is not afraid to call out a spade for being a spade, calling what Angel Dust does as just cheap porn. It's not exactly high art. Now, there's always been a slightly bit of beef between Husk and Angel Dust ever since episode 1. But this is the episode where they're finally drawing attention to it. And Husk not only calls Angel Dust out, but also everybody present in the room. Pench's inferiority complex, Vag's anger issues, Charlie's need to make everybody's lives better because she doesn't want to deal with her own problems and daddy issues, and... Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, where exactly is the big cheese of hell itself? Where is Big Daddy Morningstar? We know that Lilith has disappeared for 7 years, but we know next to nothing about the father, and the fact that they keep bringing up the daddy issues that Charlie apparently has, despite never actually addressing that she has daddy issues, or showing it. They just tell us, but we don't actually see Big Daddy Morningstar. Come on, Hazbin Hotel. Show, don't tell. Well, after Husk roasts literally everybody else in the room, he goes after Angel Dust for being the worst of them all. He's just being fake as fuck. And Angel Dust actually takes offense to this one. I mean, normally all of Husk's insults just roll off the spider's back, but this one seems to be caught in his web. But Angel Dust literally doesn't have time to be angry about that, as Valentino is calling him. Now, if you don't know, or just to have a refresher, Valentino is Angel Dust's boss, as well as the one who owns his soul. He's also one of the V's, as well as the one who produces most of the high-end porn in hell. In other words, he's not really someone you want to have owning your soul. But I can't judge Angel Dust. Yeah, we all make questionable decisions. But while I don't personally judge Angel Dust, Charlie attempts to stop Angel Dust from leaving because, well, she's a Disney princess. She wants the best for everybody. But Angel Dust lets her know, look, it's not my choice. My soul is literally owned by him. If you have a problem, take it up with my boss. This sends Charlie into a tizzy because there's literally nothing she can do. Or is there? Vag does give her the advice of, you are the princess of hell, show some backbone. Flex a little. You're not only the daughter of one of the most powerful beings in hell, you're the daughter of the most powerful being in hell. Side of Lucifer himself, who has more authority than you. But Charlie does opt out for aggressive kindness. Now, I know what some people are going to be saying. She should be flexing her power. She should be flexing her abilities. She should show Valentino who's the boss of hell, and that being her daddy. But I prefer patience. I know when this shooken up bottle eventually pops, it's going to really explode into chaos. So we cut back to Angel Dust, who's really trying to get into the role, but Husk's words are ringing in his ears as he's trying to figure out if they couldn't just go into the script writing room and rewrite a few things to make it at least somewhat entertaining. But Valentino pretty much says the exact same thing as earlier. Who cares? It's porn. People don't care about the story, they just want sex. And judging by these fellows, I don't think the budget was really spent in the writer's room. Little does Angel Dust know that he's about to get fucked in a much worse way when Charlie comes to visit his workplace. And Disney Princess plus porno is always going to be entertainingly fun. But things get rather serious really quickly when Angel Dust is trying to shoo her out, but then Valentino notices. So Valentino introduces himself to Charlie, and oh my god, this is like 12 different restraining orders of not okay. Look, I know this is hell, but Jesus Christ, have some standards. That is your princess you're currently molesting the arm of with your tongue. I mean, one phone call to Daddy and there's going to be some crucifixions in hell. Of course, he might actually deserve this, because while he's putting up just enough of a show to keep Charlie pacified, you can just feel the stink eye he's giving. But the show must go on, so they decide to continue filming. But while they try, Charlie just keeps quirkily interfering with every little thing, and through a process that I like to call comedic situation developing, she ends up catching the entire studio on fire. The girl is this clumsy, no wonder the hotel keeps falling apart. But while everybody else is concerned with the fire, Valentino has his eyes on one prey. Unfortunately, no Oscars for this performance, because while he does try to pacify Charlie, he turns immediately to Angel Dust to incur his wrath. And incur his wrath he does because, we're dealing with that kind of situation. The one where I actually have to be serious about. Now, up to this point, we've seen a lot of really messed up stuff on this show. Between sex, cannibalism, murder, violence, swearing, and a lot of cursing and inappropriate humor. But that's all it was up to this point. Humor. One of this show's greatest strengths is that it's not afraid to steer towards controversy that people would find very disturbing, much like a South Park episode. But even South Park would play off something like this as more for a laugh. We've seen this type of domestic violence before, with Butters and his grandma, or on Family Guy, with Peter with literally everybody in his household, and American Dad, with everybody in his household. That one slap pretty much sums up the domestically abusive hell that Angel Dust is going through on a regular basis, as well as establishing Valentino as not a funny villain to be fucked around with. So we've seen plenty of really enjoyable and eager to please antagonists on this show. Dick Master Adam, Alistar in general, all the other demon lords, heck, even Vox and Velvet Force. Their parts are more fun antagonists rather than serious ones, but this one might actually be the first one, the legitimate first one that really makes me want to see him suffer, and not just comedic suffer, like actual suffering. He may have had a few good jokes, but the punchline ended with that bitch slap. These next few scenes take full advantage of the setting of hell and the fact that this is an adult cartoon, as we see the full physical abuse that Angel Dust goes through with Valentino, showing exactly what kind of demon we're messing with. Yes, it's all fun and games for the most part up until this point, having fun with villainous and dark humor, but now shit really is serious. This also really brings up to the question of the overall show. Should all souls be redeemed? After all, how can you even redeem something like this? It really does show the full brutality of what it means to sell your soul. So continuing, Valentino tells Angel Dust that he is working all night and that he needs to get Charlie out of there immediately. Otherwise, he'll make things even worse for him. The facade finally drops, and Charlie sees this man for what he is, and she is about to go full demon. We've seen Charlie transform momentarily throughout the show as more joke humor, but this might actually have been the first time I think she was genuinely ready to kill someone. But Angel Dust interferes, telling Charlie she needs to go, otherwise things will only get worse for him. Yes, we know that Charlie herself is a little butterball and only wants to help, but all she's doing is making things worse. Yes, Angel Dust's words are harsh, but he knows he needs to be harsh in order to get it through her skull. So she runs off in tears, thinking that she didn't do anything except make his life a living hell, but in truth, there's really not much more she can actually do, for the show must go on. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole discussion of domestic abuse and how realistic this actually is compared to the real life, because much better and much more successful YouTube channels have already done it better than I ever could. But instead, I'm going to bring up another topic. This, for me, brings up the question of whether or not a soul can be saved, versus whether or not a soul should be saved. I believe that is a discussion as well. Yes, you do have souls like Serpentius and Angel Dust who do truly seek redemption to cross the pearly gates. What do you do in a situation like Valentino, or Vox, or Velvet, or Camilla even? Heck, even Alistar. Do you really think Alistar is going to redeem himself and get into heaven? Do you really think that most of these souls are going to go up, even if it was possible? I mean, regardless about how likable a certain character is, it is still hell, and that's where the bad ones go, even if they deserve it or not. That's where the bad people go. Hell, the place you do not want to go. Make no mistake, these aren't just quirky, fun-loving characters. They're demons, they're devils, they're damned souls. And they're damned for a reason. Well, after all this time, we finally get the first song of this episode. A cover from Angel Dust called Poison. And I do have to admit, this one is pretty intense. Probably the most intense song so far. Like, I don't consider any song that includes, unironically, the words yeah, 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 as any part of a top 3 or top 5 songs. But this one definitely has the harshest imagery, showing no restraint on just what kind of life Angel Dust lives under the thumb of Valentino. Sucking up his poison, living up his pleasure, being forced to put up a facade in order to pretend that what's happening to him is okay, because the moment he lets it down, all the pain comes in. So we do a hard cut to the next day, and Angel Dust is in a mood. Charlie is still upset because of all the problems that she caused Angel Dust, but Angel doesn't have any time to worry about that and just wants a hard one. And I don't mean a dick to the face either. Now, normally up until this point, Husk himself has been nothing more than mostly just a wallflower character, sort of set decoration than anything else, as he constantly takes digs at everybody around him in the hotel. But this might actually be the first time he actually approached Angel Dust not as a asshole, but as someone who wants to give him genuinely good advice. But, of course, in a desperate attempt to sway the demons, Angel Dust tries to play it off and him being okay with it, and trying to sexually harass Husks some more, which caused Husks to blow up and call him out for being fake as fuck. But this, in turn, enrages Angel Dust, because the one thing he does not tolerate being called is fake, because that forces him to acknowledge the fact that his life sucks. And the two get into a row, and Angel Dust storms off. But then the rest of the hotel starts getting involved in this, and they want to go after Angel Dust to try to bring him back so he doesn't do something stupid. And because Charlie is in no condition to go and help Angel because of what happened last time, guess who just got volunteered for the fetch quest? Well, it only took literally 4 episodes, but we finally got the rest of the hotel staff doing something that isn't Charlie, Vag, or Alistar related. Which isn't really that much, all things considered, but at this point I'll take what I can get. Well, cut to Husk going into a bar where Angel Dust is living it up with some loan sharks. Husk is acting as a secretive chaperone to make sure that nothing bad happens to Angel Dust or Angel Dust doesn't do something incredibly stupid. Which is a good thing he did because he saw one of the loan sharks drug Angel Dust's drink. Now, there's been a lot of bullshit that's going on, but even Husk thinks that this is going one step too far, and he immediately takes action. The loan sharks attempt to fight back, but Husk seems to have some moves with some playable trading cards, and thus him and Angel Dust manage to get it out of there. But Angel Dust actually chastises Husk for what he did, and the two get into an argument. Husk attempts to drill it into Angel Dust's thick skull that he can't handle this on his own, he needs help, and not at the bottom of a bottle. And at long last, Angel Dust finally admits that it can't be an act. He can't allow it to be an act, which definitely catches Husks off guard. Angel finally admits the reason that he's been quote-unquote okay with it is because he has to be okay with it. Because if he allowed himself for a second to believe that it wasn't, then all the feelings of why his life sucks so much would come rushing in, and he would be destroyed. But now that Angel Dust has broken down his barriers, Husk breaks down a few of his own, and reveals he was once one of the overlords of hell, a soul trader. Finally! I've been waiting for this! Actual backstory involving Husk! He's been such an enigma to the show, and to learn that he was once an overlord of hell? How did he manage to go from top of the tank to the bottom of the barrel? Well, as it turns out, not that hard when you're a gambler. Even an overlord of hell will lose every now and again. And when you play the cards and roll the dice long enough, you'll eventually become addicted to the feeling of winning. And you want to keep that addiction going, even if it means making some unfortunate deals. And when you live by the dice, you'll eventually roll the nat 1. So now we know why Husk is in service of Alistair. His soul was sold to fuel his gambling addiction, and he still lost. He lost everything. He's nothing more than your garden variety loser. Just like Angel Dust. In fact, he recognizes they're losers together. He sings a song about it. And I do have to say, the voice of Dr. Fossilier, the President in Rick and Morty, and Goliath, it would be criminal to not have him in a musical where he doesn't get at least one song. And here it is. Losers. Kind of a weird message, all things considered, but a welcome one. In order to fully start improving one's life, you also have to admit that your situation sucks. And that is the first step to trying to figure out a way to do something about it, rather than just hiding your problems with a fake personality and drugs. Unfortunately, this song did start the real shipping of these two characters. Yeah, I don't see it. I see mentor and student, not gay lovers. Stop it. You know what? It just dawned on me. This is the first episode of Hazbin Hotel where both of the songs were bangers. I have commented on this when it comes to Hazbin Hotel before, where all the songs are either swing and a miss or swing and a hit. But this is the first one where both of them were home runs. Well, maybe not home runs, but perhaps first, second base? I mean, I don't think either of them is going to be topping Hell is Forever or Stayed Gone or anything. But it is still at least good that I can enjoy both songs equally, even if they are mid to higher grade mid. The song unfortunately does cut off right at the very end, and we get a small little action scene involving those loan sharks from before. But this time, Husk has some backup as he shows off not only his combat skills, but also his teamwork with Angel Dust as he pulls out the Tommy guns. Oh, I can appreciate the small things. You know, I don't just want a gun, I want a Tommy gun. It just feels different. You know? Mobster style, go Al Capone. And the two of them wipe off their floor with the sharks fairly quickly, easy, and effortlessly. As you can tell that there's been an actual bridge bond between the two now. Not born of sexual desire, but one of mutual respect. So the episode ends with Angel Dust and Husk returning to the hotel Charlie immediately latching onto Angel Dust, begging for an apology, which he does give, and says that she did nothing wrong, which, of course, makes her cry even more like a little baby, but this time out of joy. And Husk and Angel Dust finally drop their facades and are okay with each other. And I think this truly is the first step for them to possibly redeeming their souls and going up, if that's even possible. For those of you typing in the comments already about how, oh, their souls are already redeemed and all that, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that they're in contracts and their souls are owned by somebody else. They may not even be allowed to go up because the contract keeps them down. But I'm just happy that we finally got a character-focused episode. Nothing about the hotel, nothing about the souls, nothing about anything, just something for the characters to develop them. Oh, how I miss this! Yes, I am very well aware that there's only 8 episodes to the season, and you can only develop so much in such a short amount of time while keeping the plot together. This really needed to be at least 13 episodes in order to really develop the characters and really develop what's going on. I like a fast-paced show, I like getting to the point as fast as possible, but that shouldn't come at the detriment of less character development. But this show doesn't have much of a choice with that. But as far as this episode goes, it's definitely going into my top 4. Even though I only reviewed 4 so far, but it still counts. It still counts. It's above 3. The harsh brutality of the abusive relationship that Valentino displayed that made me want to strangle him to the screen. To the duet that Husk and Angel Dust shared, sharing their situations are both sucky because they are both owned by souls of overlords that don't give a rat's ass about them, all sowing the seeds for a massive climactic finale. If I had to nitpick anything about this episode, it's the fact that Charlie's development with assertiveness didn't really go anywhere. In fact, it kind of just pulled off for the rest of the story being about Angel Dust and Husk. But I don't particularly mind that as much. There's plenty of time in the future to establish the badass girl that Charlie could be once she eventually pops. We'll just have to wait a teensy bit longer since we're already halfway done with the series. So with that being said, I'm Rehash, the stir of chaos, and I've stirred the pot of chaos for this episode. Tune in next time for episode 5 of Hazbin Hotel. See you there.